So, young brothers and sisters, I always consider this generation whose age below 30, 20, 15, you are actually, I consider, generation of 21st century. So obviously, past is past. 20th century already passed. Whether good or bad, whether happy or miserable, cannot change now. The future still open. So therefore, 21st century, 13 and a half years already passed. The remaining over 80 years, 80 years yet to come. So there is possibility, change. The present is the world. And particularly India. The present situation or condition, do you feel satisfied or not? Those people who satisfy, raise hand. Satisfy. Unsatisfied, raise hand. I must also raise. Then, do you have more concern about nature disaster, like a tsunami, and do you more concerned about man-made problem, such as war? How much you feel violence? And in this country, violence, I think, comparatively less, but still too much, also the exploitation, corruptions, and a lot of sort of female here, also the rape, gang rape. These are man-made problem, not a nature disaster. So how much, those people who really feel serious about these man-made problems, raise hand. Yes, me too also. Now think, man-made problem, since our own creation. Therefore, logically, we human beings also have the ability to reduce these problems or eventually eliminate these problems. Can we do that? I believe we can do. I think this question, I may not raise hand. I think now my generation is generation of 20th century. So we, I think, enough problem we created. Now the generation of 21st century, it is your responsibility to solve this problem. My generation and myself now watching you, how to solve this problem by this 21st century's generation. Sometimes I jokingly telling people or young people, see, even my sort of life sort of sees either, you see, heaven or hell. If I remain in heaven, then certainly I can watch you, whether you see you properly, you see tackle these problems or not. Even I in hell, I think I can get some permission, 2 weeks sort of visit to earth or human, human world, and then watch. So therefore, my generation now ready to say bye-bye. So this generation, younger generation of 21st century, now you must sort of wake up, open your mind. Should not sort of take for granted our life as today go this way. Okay, should not feel that way. Now, as you agree, a lot of man-made problem. This will not solve through prayer to God, to Buddha, to Jesus Christ, to Allah. No. Frankly speaking, if Allah, God, Buddha, or Mahavira, if they have the ability to solve this problem, then the world, since after they came, I think the world should not have any problem. This shows they have no sort of also the ability to solve this problem, because we create this problem. So we must sort of struggle, you see, to reduce this problem, finally to eliminate. And meantime, this country, for example, this country, as well as China, two most populated nation, the poverty immense. Poverty immense. So we need, I think India, since independence, I think education, economy, all these fields, I think much progress. It takes a lot of progress. At the same time, every year, more mouth come. According to some sort of survey, they say, end of this century, human population will reach 10 billions. When I first came as a refugee and visited Europe, 73, around that period, we usually say 6 billion human beings. Now 7 billion human beings. Over 30, 40 years. Now already. So within this century, end of this century could be 10 billions. So more mouth. So we need material development. The way material development, I think, should have some kind of the sort of a sense of socialist sort of thinking. From money, from profit, because of the use for well-being of masses. That's, I think, very important. Now in those capitalist countries, in Europe, in America, you see, because of recent sort of economic difficulties, a crisis, global economy, so you see, number of economists now is rethinking about the sort of past sort of what's the way of doing or way of thinking, like that. So at the same time, the market-oriented sort of economy also is have sort of dynamic force. That's also fact. So now you should think more seriously. I think 19, perhaps early 90, maybe, soon after the collapse of Soviet Union, I have the opportunity to visit then Czechoslovakia on the invitation of President Havel. So at that time, I expressed, now like those former communist countries, Eastern European countries, now the Soviet system, socialist system, centralized economy, more or less collapse. Now change, it's collapse. Didn't work. Soviet Union itself, stagnation. So that's why the President Gorbachev, tried to change. So now China also now, they are sort of socialist pattern, centralized sort of pattern, didn't work. So Deng Xiaoping also now changed that. At the same time, the existing capitalist system, also sometimes I think lack of pay attention about gap rich and poor. Too much individualistic thinking. So therefore, at that time, as I express, now time come, some kind of synthesized economic system. I think now India, when Pandit Nehru's time, the socialism through democracy, that also didn't work properly. Now this country, a huge gap, rich and poor. Bombay itself now, a lot of poor people. So in any way, and the present India's economic system, many of my friends say, because of unsustainable sort of economy system. So now, economy field also, you have to think more seriously. New way, you should think. Then economy development alone not sufficient. Money provide only physical comfort, not mental comfort. So logically, which creates, which destroy our mental comfort is mental emotion. There are two kinds of emotion. Some emotions are destructive, some are constructive. So most cases, spontaneous, those emotions which spontaneously come, most cases destructive. Constructive emotion need combination of awareness and wisdom. That only through learning, only through training. However, the emotion which come through training, come through awareness, is much stronger because it have the because of the basis of valid. Don't you love that India?
Emotions that you can develop through awareness and has some valid support from knowledge.
So those emotions spontaneously come, those sound bases. Therefore, we can reduce this destructive emotion. So, the actually destroyer of our peace of mind is within ourselves. So the method or tackle this destroyer of our peace of mind must come through, must come within mind. So awareness. Now here, over 3,000 years, various different religious traditions, including Egyptian, very, very ancient sort of faith, and as well as Chinese and Kasachuti.
Indus Valley.
Indus Valley sort of a civilization. I think several thousand years, I think at least maybe 4,000-5,000 years, this is faith or spirituality, which is developed. These, I think because, you see, people eventually realize, say, problem, which, I mean, because of the problem or mental sort of the crisis or unrest. You see, these things, you see, can be reduced through faith. So these religious traditions eventually develop. So in any way, now, realistically speaking, this problem is a universal problem. Entire 7 billion human beings problem. So no matter one religion is something remarkable, will not be universal. So there is no other choice. Without relying on religious faith, we must find some way, you see, to tackle these problems. Now here comes India's 1,000-year-old tradition, secular ethics, secularism. This is very fit. Now today's world, 7 billion human beings. Out of 7 billion, I often telling, over 1 billion human beings are non-believer. Anyone can say, how many non-believers in this country? I think everybody pretend to be a believer. If 1.2 billion of Indians are truly believer, then how can corruption develop? So most of these corrupted people, suppose believer, I think they worship Shiva, Shivaji, or Ganesh, so on. So they are not seriously believe that. So now, firstly, a lot of formally declare I am non-believer, about over 1 billion. Then among 6 billion supposed believer, but still actually in deep inside not much believe seriously. Recently, the President, His Holiness Pope, dismissed one German, I think bishop or something. I really sort of admire the courage of President Pope. You see, that German bishop, of course, as a sort of the Catholic sort of leader, I think he must sort of talk in church, contentment. And then his own private life, you see, even his taps are bath tap.
Bath tap, no.
30,000 euro or something. So you see, he talks contentment, simplicity. He didn't practice that. So His Holiness Pope found this is not right. So Pope dismissed him. I think in this country also, I hope some of the spiritual leader, I think should dismiss some of these corrupted believers. On my own sort of level, among Tibetan, I openly criticize. You see, some of the spiritual leaders, you see, they not carry Buddha's teaching properly. And whenever some devotees there, they really carry exploitation. Very bad. Now in China, number of Tibetan, they themselves call spiritual, how say they,
Kings.
A spiritual king, Dharma Raja. About I think 20 years ago, I met one Chinese from mainland China. And he told me, nowadays, some Tibetan themselves call as a Dharma Raja, and then Chinese devotees, Chinese Buddhists, they really sort of, because of that, express devotions. And eventually, these Dharma Raja actually seek money and sex. So that Chinese, he told me, oh, you Dalai Lama, you should do something. And I told him, I'm in India. I cannot do anything. So the important is those Chinese devotees should know the quality of a spiritual teacher. Buddha made very clear from Vinaya, Sutrayana, Tantrayana. See, Buddha state, Buddha and those great masters stated, in order to become teacher, you need such quality. And generally, 10 points clearly mentioned. So therefore, I think I must add this, about 10 points myself when I check my own course. I think at least
Qualified.
Not fully qualified, but some qualification there. So okay. So I told you that Chinese, those devotees must study in order to become teacher or Buddhist teacher. Should have these quality. Once you know these qualification, then watch the person, so-called Dharma Raja, whether these qualification there or not. Till you're not fully convinced, then simply, you see, deal with these people as a sort of spiritual brother or sister, and conversation. And through that way, check what is their knowledge, what is their spiritual experiences. When you fully convince, really qualified one, then consider as your teacher. Till conviction come, you should not receive any teaching as a teacher, right? As a guru. I told him that way. So therefore, recently I met one lady. Actually, I know, you see, one daughter of one great lay teacher. Right?
No.
Actually, I received many teaching from that master. Actually, Tengu Chense Rinpoche. So recently I met, his daughter. He quite often visit Tibet and also the China proper, like that. So she told me, I think okay. recently I met her. She told me some time back when she visited China proper, she met some young Tibetan Lama or some kind of elaborate sort of dress like that. So then she told me she quarreled with those young Tibetan Lamas. She told me like that. It's very correct, very good. I think such sort of young sort of teacher or Lama, young Lama, you see, because of self-proclaimed way.
No,
Self-proclaimed. You see, these I think need openly criticize. Then maybe they realize. Otherwise, oh, Rinpoche, actually spoil them. Clear? So, thing is travel.
단데 janag.
말에 뒤쳐서.
신이 돼 봐.
말에 뒤쳐서.
단데 자가기 된 법단도 좀 맞춰.
Oh, so I mean, no, believer.
No.
So you see, amongst suppose 6 billion believer, actually, I think about 1 billion, I think not very serious believer. Then 1 billion, not very serious believer. Then perhaps 5 billions. So therefore, the religion, the various religious tradition, wonderful. I'm Buddhist. My daily practice, about 5 hours practice, analytical meditation, very useful, very, very helpful. But Buddhism, in the terms of 7 billion human beings, cannot work. Perhaps now, the Christian, about 1 billion, little over 1 billion. Muslim, over 1 billion. Hindu, perhaps 600 millions. Sometime back, some of my friend used to say that. And at that time, I think 15 years ago, then they say Buddhist population about 200 millions. Combine Hindus and Buddhists, then about 800 millions. Now China, already over 400 millions. So now it seems to say about billion, right? About billions of Buddhist population. So in any way, still, you see, any religion cannot be universally acceptable or accepted. So we need third way, that's India's tradition, secularism. I must make clear, in the West, some of my friends, some Muslims, some Christians, they little sort of, reservation. They have some reservation using secular, because they got the impression secular means a little bit of distance from religion. And worst case, they not distinction, atheism and secularism. And it is, I think, quite understandable. During French Revolution and the Bolshevik Revolution and the Chinese Revolution, there is some tendency against religion. Actually, if we precisely sort of look there, then they against religious institution, not religion. Religion means love, practice of love. So how one human being, sensible human being, against love, against compassion? Impossible. Even animal very much appreciate affection, compassion. So we human being never against, impossible to against, you see, a practice of compassion. However, religious institution frankly speaking, many cases corrupted. Religious institution become like economy institution or some kind of sort of elite people's interest. I think French Revolution, the French religious institution and kings, special connection. Bolshevik Revolution, the Russian Tsar and elite people and religious organization mutually helping each other. So in order to oppose the existing elite sort of people who exploit poor people, since their interest very much related with religious institution. So naturally, it's necessary to against religious institution. So they use the name against religion. Religion is opium. It's understandable. Nobody can say compassion is opium. No, never say. But many religious institutions, hypocritical way. So therefore, I think we must make distinction. Those revolution apparently against religion, but actually religious institution, not religion itself. One story, my own sort of experience. When I was in Peking in 1954-55, I had sort of several meetings with Chairman Mao Zedong and many other communist leaders. Oh, I really admire. Listen, they totally dedicated well-being of poor people, working class people. So at that time, one occasion, Chairman Mao Zedong, he told me, one occasion, Chairman Mao Zedong praising Buddha. He considered Buddha was revolutionary because he against the caste system. Then one occasion, that's actually last meeting, Chairman Mao Zedong told me, your brain is very scientific minded. Then he told me, religion is opium. Now, if Chairman Mao Zedong is still alive, I think Chairman Mao may describe differently, because a lot of scientists are really showing interest about Buddhism, Buddhist psychology, ancient Indian psychology. One time in Tibet, the official sort of as a paper state, Tibetans are very, very blind faith, with blind faith, very, very backward. However, it's not necessary to eliminate that with effort. More scientific education increase, it automatically disappear. Now I think really well-respected, well-known scientists really showing interest. So I think Chairman Mao, if today still alive, I think Chairman Mao may get different views. So like that, you see, who can against love? 7 billion human beings, all come from our mother, all survived, grown up with mother's affection, parents' affection, and mother's milk. Soon after birth, no longer affection, child will die. So we all 7 billion human beings experienced how much important about human affection, human compassion, human love. Who can against that? So now, however, this is related with religion, then it's a certain sort of faith. And then become differ But concept of also the experience, appreciation of affection is something universal. So now, without touching religion, secular way, educate importance of these value. The secular way, secular ethics through secular way of approach. So that I call beyond religion. Although I think yesterday or day before yesterday, I already mentioned, you see, beyond does not mean above religion. But actually, secular ethics is basis of all major religious tradition. So all major religious tradition, you see, they further sort of strengthening these basic human values. For that, they use different philosophical views, such as concept of God, and the concept of law of causality. And when we all, when description about God, about Buddha, the main sort of point is infinite love. So it is very clear. So that I want to share with you. Now questions now.
So we have a list of students. More than 200 questions have come. So there is no attempt at censorship. We've just picked questions based on coming together of what students have put together. I will announce a student's name. If that student is there, there is a microphone there. Please ask your question. Please make your question be short. My first question is Daniel D'Souza there?
Where?
Okay, is Jai Krishna Patel? Okay, let me ask the question. A person has to choose from the following: what he loves to do or what he must do. What should he choose? Should he give up on love or should he give up on duty?
Krishna.
Mijil kesi lega chi ko che lega che di Quran 당외 군내랑 체 가시 유베던 체바당 체고야 지가야다 야나 인지 민지 체고야 직제왕 소르시 등이 담고요나 거기 담고요나 세지.
I think obviously, I think the work which fits you, then some kind of also the enthusiasm come. Work which something impose, then difficult to develop enthusiasm. So work itself then will not be very top quality, right? Top quality, right?
No.
Oh. So it is, I think, important. Even if a person who give you some jobs, I think should interview the employee, right? Employee. What is their sort of, because of the mental disposition and their interest. I think here, the Arya Deva and 400 verses, you see, clearly mentioned students, different mental disposition. Very important to know the different mental disposition. Then accordingly treat. Buddha himself, you see, taught different philosophical views, which contradictory. Why? You see, Buddha emphasizes importance of stability according to the person who have different mental disposition. So it is very, very important. Something imposed, then hypocrisy come. And then I think in this country, complacency is
Complacence now.
complacency. You could do something, but not top quality. Japanese product, so highly good
quality.
Oh, good quality. Really, it's the same thing, but India's sort of product not much polished, Japanese product, very much polished. I think German as well, I think. So you see, sometimes we little bit sort of
No, we take things for granted.
So I think, in a way, it is good, the practice of contentment. Next question.
Divya Mistry, is she here? Divya Mistry, please come. Come here in the middle and ask the question. I should ask. I can ask her on her behalf. So her question is,
on session. Or this. Yes.
her question is, how do we make studies, fun and spirituality run on the same track? Do we need any religion other than humanity to grow in life?
Slobjon che ta ya nawang ki bu che ta ya nang sem ki thol ya ge ta ya tin su ma nyam do kan dis drop che to les an di ga la zu de mi ke ju rang la shi sha ba mo de chi lu sin so de ke ko ya yo re be se de shi
Kare.
always na ko ya yo re be.
I think the mental level, peaceful, self-confidence, relax, I think very important for study. Too much anxiety, some kind of tense way, somehow. Tension, I think very bad for study. So, study with full relax, and relaxation very much related with self-confidence. Self-confidence very much related with honest, truthful, clear. So that's my view. So, religion, as I mentioned earlier, is up to individual. The problem, I think the why I'm sort of emphasis the secular ethics is usually, you see, many people feel practice of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, these things are religious matter. So people who have not much interest about religion, then they also forget or neglect about these things. That's a mistake. Whether you accept religion or not, up to individual. But so long we are human being, we cannot neglect about these basic human values. This is for your own interest. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we all come from our mother. We all deeply experienced human affection. That human love, affection, you see, absorbed in our blood. So therefore, the opposition, anger, hatred, fear. So constant fear, anger, hatred, constantly sort of occur. Some medical scientists say, eating our immune system. This is not religious sort of teaching. Scientists say that. Last almost 30 years, I have serious sort of engagement or dialogue with modern scientists, mainly in America and also in Europe, and also a few occasions in India. And now also you see have some occasion in Japan. So through these sort of discussion, it becomes very clear. The destructive emotions are very, very harmful for our health. And then also, one time in San Francisco, some conference about crimes among youth. There are scientists, social workers, and then some medicals. I think they carry 3 days sort of seminar. The last day I participated. So then all the participants unanimously agree the basic sort of cause of crime rate increasing is lack of compassion in the society, in the family. They mentioned that. So the genuine sort of also the concept of affection, these are very much related well-being of humanity, like that. This one. Next question.
This question is from Aradhna Mittal. If she's here, she can.
Yes. I think those people who have some question, they come.
No.
Come
Riya
here, come
Punjabi,
here.
is she there? She can come after. Riya Punjabi.
I think not necessarily read their name. I think those questions come
Fine.
more faster.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My question is that there are many gruesome war crimes and innocent people become victims of that. So how does their good karma help and compensate them then?
Karsa.
Mang Chu the Gyobo Mambuch the Sishu Chotas and Koran to the less Sambudi, Ya mean to ya mean Yabu Yon to ya Tapshito Karachi University. Koran the young de Gorbala, young hand is the Koran to less Sambusa Jodi mean. The contest Chitocho.
I think that's a difficult question for me. In our city, in Muslim countries, in Syria, a lot of problem. According to Muslim tradition, they should find some answer. Then, I don't know. As far as Buddhist, then you see, and also at least I think ancient Hindu tradition, Indian tradition. You see, we believe life after life. So no matter how difficult it is, should not sort of commit harmful to others. Here I want to, with this connection, I want to mention the real meaning of forgiveness is not sort of accept whatever they done, right? No. We must make distinction. Action and actor. As far as actor is concerned, person who perpetrate.
The perpetrator. The perpetrators.
Perpetrator is concerned. You must keep a sense of concern of their well-being. As far as the action is concerned, some unjust action, right? Unjust action, or take the advantage on you. Then, as far as the action is concerned, sometimes we need countermeasure. Countermeasure in order to stop their wrongdoing, out of sense of concern of their well-being. If I let their sort of wrongdoing, then they may increase or they may carry continuously. So ultimately, they will suffer from viewpoint of karmic law, they committed negative karma. So they have to face negative consequences. So out of a sense of concern, try to stop, countermeasure. Without anger, with sense of concern of their well-being. So it is important distinction. So forgiveness means you not let anger towards that person. I think, for example, our own case, my own case, we oppose some of the Chinese hardliners' policy. We criticize and oppose, but never develop anger towards these people. We always keep sense of compassion, forgiveness. We can make it a distinction. Action is concerned, oppose, criticize. Action is concerned, sense of concern. Oh, how bad, a pity, like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Come, next question.
Students, please come up on your own and ask the questions. There are so many of the questions here. Please
So
ask
till-
your question directly.
아니, 수수가 차고래.
Students, please.
주제도 제가 보내죠.
Please.
So about 1 hour.
Please line up behind.
So those people, those who have questions, then come here. Yes, now start. You start.
Namaste, His Holiness. I'm really honored to be given this opportunity. I'm Sri
Close
My
to the mic.
my question is framed on the thought that His Holiness is an human being, and each human being has his own personal inclination about doing something in life which he likes. So therefore my question is for His Holiness is very simple. If you were not chosen to be Dalai Lama, what would you have been?
I may say silly question. Not much relevant. I've already become Dalai Lama. Since I think 2-3 years, 2-3 years age. So not much use.
And
But then I think similar question. If I'm not male, if female, and what do you feel? And in your own case, if you are not female, male, then what do you feel? What do you wish? Silly question. Next question.
Next,
Yes.
if given the choice of living the life of His Holiness 14 Dalai Lama again,
Karsa.
will you change it in some way or leave it in the same way?
Karsa.
오늘 제단데 구전 주시버디 양자 직패고 좀 양자 다가란 나고 좀 보이는 뒤 난기 연합니다.
Oh, now that is about the future. Actually, as early as 1969, one of my official statement, formally I stated whether this very institution of Dalai Lama should continue or not up to Tibetan people. If majority of the people feel this institution no longer relevant, then this institution automatically cease, no problem. Now in case the concerned people, now actually I think 2000 I think 2 years ago, one of our spiritual leaders, Tibetan spiritual leaders, is gathered. From time to time, so we gathered. The last our gathering, we made one statement. My age, about the future of Dalai Lama, including institution, when the present Dalai Lama's age reach around 90 now, then we will decide. Final decision we'll make. So that officially, with full sort of census,
No. Census, consensus.
or consensus, yes, consensus with all the spiritual leaders of Tibetan Buddhists. So, and then theoretically, I think 15, 20 years ago, in Paris, one women's magazine, one correspondent of that magazine, you see, asked me, one lady asked me, in future Dalai Lama, can be any female Dalai Lama? Then I immediately said, oh yes, possible. Reason, in Tibetan tradition, I think the karma for reincarnation, that I think now over 7 centuries. So similarly, the same sort of period, there's something Dojipamu reincarnation, also now over 7 centuries. So all the reincarnation are female. So there are such sort of well-known, famous sort of reincarnation, female reincarnation. There are. This is not new. So then I told that reporter, yes, possible, female Dalai Lama. In case this institution still continue, then I told, if female Dalai Lama comes, then a female must be very, very attractive female. Or ugly female Dalai Lama. I think some people may not pay much attention. Beautiful face, then more attention. I think the President Dalai Lama also, if my face something like that, I think some people may not pay much attention, isn't it? Like that. Okay. Next question.
Can I request one question per student?
Good morning, Your Holiness. The world as we know has people who believe in numerous faiths and cultures and traditions, even religions. They are divided on the basis of the culture or the religion that they follow. I have heard from many great people that there is only one God, and there are various avatars of him on this earth. But my stand on it, why people are still being divided on the name of the God or the tradition that they follow.
That's, I think, firstly, two causes. Firstly, I think in most cases, real cause is not religion, but economy or political power. I think past history, conflicts in the name of religion, actually, I think political reasons, economy or power like that. In some cases, I think truly, because they believe one religion, one truth. That's the problem. Sense of one truth, one religion. That apply to the society. Then this problem start. So yesterday also I mentioned the sense of one truth, one religion, and sense of several truths, several religion. Itself looks contradiction, but no contradiction. In terms of individual sense of one truth, one religion, relevant. And sense of community, several truths, several religion is relevant. Now India's case, this country, 1,000 years, multi-religious nation, a community. So, modern India constitution, modern Indian constitution, they based on secularism. India's constitution cannot be based on Hinduism. And there are a lot of Christians, a lot of Muslims. So therefore, in the term, that's a reality. So then, I noticed is Muslim in this country, Muslim in Malaysia, Muslim in Indonesia, particularly Bali area. There are many Buddhists, many Hindus also there in Bali. And then Muslim in Arab. You see, so they follow same Quran, 5 times sort of pray
Namaz now.
daily. However, they are sort of thinking different because of the circumstances. Indian Muslim, from their birth, they already sort of take for granted there are many different religious traditions. I think, for example, the Muslim in Bodh Gaya, I think their ancestor, came to Bodh Gaya for destruction of Bodh Gaya temple. Nowadays, you see, those Muslim shops, the more Buddhist, because of pilgrimage there. Pilgrims come. That's their customer. So we have very good relation with the Bodh Gaya Muslims and Buddhists. Many occasions, they have one school, Muslim school. They invited me. So many occasions I visited there. They give me very tasteful tea. I still remember, wonderful. I think because of that day, maybe I a little bit tired. So then afterwards, we visited their school and some chat, and they provide me tea. Oh, delicious. So you see, something is very, because of the environment, something very, the concept of civil religion, civil truth, from the childhood isn't there. Whereas, there's some country, only one religion, Muslim, then it is sometimes difficult. Similarly, we Tibetan Buddhists, when we were in Tibet, we felt, Buddhism is religion, but others so-so, like that. After we came to outside Tibet, then contact with more people, then we develop, wonderful religions. So environment makes differences. Therefore, the closer contact with other tradition is very, very important. So interfaith, our last several years, and the Assisi meeting, late Polish Pope, Pope John
Paul II.
Wonderful, wonderful. I had several occasions meeting with him. Wonderful. So since first meeting, we once developed very sort of close feeling because his background from communist Poland. I also spent at least 9 years with Chinese communists. So he initiated the Assisi meeting. Really wonderful. So Vatican, now, you see, they use religions, not just religion. These are very, very, very good. So very realistic. So more wider contact. I think 2 years ago, I met some group Muslim from some few Arab Muslim countries. UAE.
No.
And I think Abu Dhabi, and I think a few more. Our group came there. We discussed something. And then including one member asked me, science and religion, Kasota, difficult, go together. And I told him, no problem. Science concerning matters, religion concerning insight. So no problem. I told them, and then also, you see, among them, some teachers, some professors female professors there. So then I express my appreciation, equality, male and female, and Muslim, like that, female. But professor, wonderful. So I told them, you should organize international Muslim conference about equality of female, male. So some Muslim, so a little bit sort of today concerned about education for female. So outsider cannot suggest. The change must start within Muslim. So I request them. Now here in your group, some female professors there. It's wonderful. Now you should sort of organize some kind of international Muslim conference and more discuss about these things I mentioned. Like that. So, you correct chudi. Tamare.
줄로 땡게 같이
가.
나오는 줄로 땡게 가르치는 연구였어요.
So more wider contact. That's I think important. Then also, as I mentioned earlier, lacking moral education about or conviction about moral principle, and lacking oneness of humanity. So that really, I think, war, any violence, whether economic reasons, religious reasons, political reasons, the ultimate sort of basis is lack of sense of oneness of humanity. If people, both sides, consider others as a human being, and how can sort of also they commit violence? If you face some sort of danger on your life, you escape. You don't want. So similar feeling, they also, because of same human being, feeling with that feeling, automatically restraining. So sometimes you see, I saw one picture. I think during Second World War, one Greek soldier, see, because felt bullet about to fell. The enemy side soldier taking care. Officially, each side order shoot other. At the human level, sense of concern. So the person now dying and taking care. So we must promote that human levels of feeling, and on the basis of sense of oneness of humanity. That really need. Then okay, it's different faith. It's his or her interest, no problem. But still, same human brothers, sisters. I think we need that kind of sort of thing.
global responsibility.
Global responsibility. Yeah, thank you. Next.
Thank you, Your Holiness.
Your Holiness, I have a very simple question. If your aim in life is to attain nirvana, moksha or higher knowledge, then why waste one's time in attaining worldly knowledge and wealth?
Sir, what?
가서 수수 미유디 타바담 지켜봤던데 타비하기 제도 임베이나 아니 지금 세디 제도 이제 롭존 제도 가르친 쳐. 세디 제도 롭존 제 가르친 쳐 그래서 미유도 어디야 타바담 임베이나.
I think your own case.
Yes.
You are a student. So you are thinking mainly in future professor or some sort of specialist in a certain field. That's your sort of aim. Now, meantime, you cannot neglect today's breakfast, today's lunch, today's dinner. Isn't it? You have to survive. You have to take care of your health in order to achieve your goal and real your life, right?
No.
Oh. So same, nirvana and moksha, we cannot achieve today. Even it may take several lives. So we have to think about, you see, the life after life, the human body. Because nirvana, animal, no interest about the nirvana, only we human being. So without human body, you see, you can't sort of make attempt to achieve nirvana. So in order to carry your long-term sort of effort, you need healthy body. And meantime, one alone thinking nirvana, while millions of people suffer, then not because of the proper, right? No. Not proper. Even social animal, simple animal, one their companion die, they worry. Wounded, they leaking. We are human beings. Other human brothers, sisters suffer. How can you just think about moksha? So therefore, you see, we have to take sort of concern equally, temporary sort of interest or benefit and long-term benefit. Okay.
I'll just rephrase it. Exactly wanted to know why delay the process when I'm young as a 25-year-old, when I could start the process, go on a spiritual path. Why wait till an age of a 60-year-old person? Then I decide now, okay, I've wasted most of my early years, and now I want to be on this path of spirituality. Why not as early as now?
Shendune chulu da dana ma che karjin chi go maris. Ko de ga de ne lo thukju de ge so na ni shine chi chö chi ge se de de su chi ro dil jan.
Perhaps, I think in the sense of corruption, after you retired, I think less opportunity corruption. So then you can be more holy person. But as far as training of mind, must start from young age. When you reach the age of retirement, your energy, all your sort of mental sort of, also the energy or mental potential, then begin to decline. So the physical, so the energy or these things, intelligence, these things, before declining, start thinking, meditation, very, very important. So you already did 25 years, right? 25 years. So now should not delay. While you study, also you see at least you see 15 minutes or 30 minutes, some kind of sort of meditation. That's, I think, necessary. Then when you reach the time of retirement, because you already use where?
No.
Komba.
You are familiarized.
Familiarized. So then very easy. But otherwise, you see, when you completely neglect, then at the time of retirement, now there's no other jobs, then only thinking about next life or something. Then reading also difficult. Hearing also sometimes difficult. So then I think too late, isn't it? Yes, now next question.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Holiness. I hope my question doesn't offend any religion or something. Bhagwan Buddha is considered as the ninth avatar or incarnation of Vishnu as per the Hindu religious beliefs. Then why do you think Gautam Buddha after Nirvana thought of starting Buddhism when he himself was a Hindu before Nirvana? So
Kasa.
네, 코란스 땅에
그러지.
히루시시나 좀 되네.
때나왔다.
디 구바드레스.
네.
시고레스 이네 좀 되는데 코란스 좀 슈베 갑라 힌두 차디어레 이 제라 공부 조니 남바드레스에 가르친 라부여레스.
According 서로 가서 또 영자서 가래. 영자.
popularly
I think according to the record, I think till 29, colony group he remained in the palace. So naturally, so he learned at that time sort of existing sort of spirituality, Buddhism not yet developed. Then he actually, you see, there's some sutra actually you see mentioned. He studied most of the sort of existing sort of spirituality and also practice. Then his personal sort of experience, he found some sort of adequacy, inadequacy. Then he spent. Then he want actually more serious meditation. So he left palace. Then next 6 years, he fasting. That means you see he seriously sort of meditate, and meditate not just close eyes and thoughtlessness state. Not that way. I think analytical meditation. Analyze. Then he found, you see, now anathema theory. So he found many sort of destructive emotion related with strong feeling of I, self. So then he developed concept of anathema, selflessness. And again, you see, he meditate. Then you see his kasota, his all these traces of destructive emotion. Then lesson. Then kono kaware sanjayati. 35, he enlightened. So that's according Pali tradition. Mainly Vivasek sort of tradition. That's the explanation. Then Sanskrit tradition, we have the concept of 4 kayas, 4 bodies. Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nimanakaya, and then Jnanakaya. I think Dharmatakaya, then Jnanakaya, then Sambhogakaya, then Nirmanakaya. So Buddha Shakyamuni was Nirmanakaya. So Buddha Shakyamuni was actually, I think, the manifestation of Sambhogakaya. Sambhogakaya
arise from
Jnanakaya. And ultimate nature of these kayas are kasajuti,
empty.
Dhammatakaya, like that. One my friend, one American, you see, actually I think her sort of book, I think already published now. I think one Buddhist nun. Once she told me she carries some sort of research work in Thailand. She met some Thai monks. One respected Thai elder bhikshus. actually, you see, got vision, Buddha, surrounded by Arahat. Then he believed, oh, Buddha's spirit still there. Actually, Buddha still there. We cannot see commonly, but he saw. Then his student, another Thai bhikshu, since he developed some interest about these four kayas. So that student of that is the old sort of the monk, actually took one pilgrimage, one area where, what's say, our Lukashwara statue there. I think the border with China, I think. So actually I saw a picture. That monk, you see, bow down and praying. White light directly come from that statue on his head. One picture, I saw that picture. So therefore, you see the kasol tumu tuje nang luju jekche. Ya tumu mo imbo odo jene kushi nam shang dan jekche yoga resha.
So, with regard to the life story of the Buddha himself, there could be two versions. One is on a popular level where people can have access to the Buddha and so forth. But on the other hand, there is an uncommon version of the life of the Buddha.
So these are a little bit mysterious. I think only Buddhist knows, no other. Not relevant also. So these, the four kaya, how to explain? At least the three kayas are the phenomena which momentarily changing. So any momentarily changing phenomena must have substantial causes. So these three kayas, what is substantial causes? Ultimate substantial causes is basically continuation of our mind. Then the sensorial mind never become Buddha's mind. Mental level. Mental level also, you see, grosser level mind never become Buddha's mind. More subtle. In dream level, subtle mind will not become Buddha. Very, very subtle level mind. So that we call Buddha nature, Tathagata Karma, or Sukha Darshindaya. Like that. So it's a lot of sort of explanation. And one my friend, one American, now over 30 years, he serious meditation. As a result, when he meditate, some dissolutions actually take place. And then he can maintain more subtler level of mind, 3 hours, completely sort of sensorial, stop, cease. It's actually happened. And then in Thailand, now one meditation center built by one American with the money of one German, I think millionaire. So there regularly some meditationers you see, carry meditation. So some of them you see can stay in deep meditation 3-4 hours. It's actually you see, happen. So I really see, very, very keen to meet some of the sadhus you see, who spend in mountains. I think except this year, or this year or last year, recent sort of Mahakumbha Mela. Otherwise, the previous, I think 3 times I participated Mahakumbha Mela. So there I met, you see, a lot of completely naked sadhus. I was told many of these sadhus remain whole year in snow mountains. So I really very, very keen meet and inquire. You see, I think they must have sort of experience of deep meditation. But so far, not yet because of the
Materialize.
not yet because of the materialized meeting. The last sort of Mahakumbha Mela, I got invitation, so I ready to go. But then very day, my chartered plane, you see, fly, Dharamsala weather not allowed me, not allowed landing the aircraft. Then postponed a few days. Again fixed day, again, so Dharamsala, Kangra Valley, there are special sort of the Kasati,
Temples.
Kasati, Onju,
No.
Shiva,
Shiva.
Shivaji there. So it seems Shivaji not allowed me. So I often used to telling people, the Lord Shiva, his permanent residence is inside Tibet, Mount Kailash. So that's a Hindu god. Buddhist god, Buddha, was Indian. From the permanent residence wise, Shivaji was Tibetan god. So, the Tibetan Buddhist god, Indian. Millions of Hindus god, Tibetan. Like that. So in these things, very, very complicated sort of the philosophical views like that. Okay.
Is it possible I can seek your blessings, Your Highness, Your Holiness?
Okay. Next question. Start next question. No, they did it.
Come from the
They were-
steps.
Yes.
His Holiness, my His Holiness, my respectful obeisances.
Louder,
to-
louder.
Closer, please. Yeah.
His Holiness, my respectful obeisances to you. I want to ask for the students, particularly in this 21st century, there is a lot of exposure to sensuality through various types of media. And because of this, many students are not able to concentrate on their studies. They are addicted to many bad habits. What message you will give to all the students, how to be safe from this sensual exposure and to practice celibacy, particularly in student life?
Karsa.
Practice celibacy, are you talking about?
Karsa. What question?
Thing sang example na ta tang cha tang de lam ne ta man da na so thong ya yung ne chin sa ani ji de be xian wang de xi zhu du spu ma bu chi an di lo zhong de de so sem su ma de che ani zhe nian da de de ma bu chi ko na short du di ma yun ye che du da chi tab shi de ka re na si de shi de da zo lao lo zhu zhe.
No. Yes, I think again, you see, lacking conviction about inner value. So the existing sort of culture, I think, because of the existing sort of lifestyle, a culture of materialism there. Because culture of because the lifestyle, materialistic lifestyle. I think mainly because education system very much oriented about material value. So that's the problem. If student, of course, you see, they use these technology, these things, but at the same time, they have the knowledge or sort of conviction, inner value. Then, kasoda, won't kasoda, ta kadabet, ngobuya ye kona just do that, you know.
Yes. So, of course, you cannot just be lost in the material values alone.
So some, you see, my friend, you see, who now immigrate Europe, some European countries, and also some in Canada and America. See, many of them, you see, telling me, for making money, go there, these countries, very good. And eventually, say, want to return India. More sort of the spiritual sort of the atmosphere. They say like that. So therefore, I think, you see, people who have some sort of the experience about inner value, then yes, use material things, but will not be slave of these material things. Okay. Thank you.
And I want to ask one more question. Whenever it was asked to Buddha about God and soul, he never answered. He kept silence. And many different philosophers interpret it differently. I want to ask, what is your opinion? What was the reason for his silence?
Karsa.
Chumden de la court, the court, country number Goblan, Lama Jovichin, shooting.
Or the Lumating.
On the deed Kasukanderas.
Yes, there is some sort of different interpretation, some Buddhist literature. You see, actually, I think whatever Buddha answer, the other person, you see, gets the wrong view. So best thing is remain silent, unanswered. Like that. I think maybe Buddha also is a little bit sort of busy. So if you see lengthy time, then he can explain a lot of things. But not sufficient time, then simple answer, yes or no, create more misunderstanding. So best thing is silence.
But mostly it is being interpreted in an atheistic way.
Karsa.
Many people say that Buddha was he was non-believer, means he was not believing in any creator, but he kept silent. What we should derive from this?
Chumden de Lama Juba Tavarangi, Chumden de Kranch, Chu Kim Lengabu, the days on Lanky Marcia, the dishes.
Yes, I think he indirectly, you see, he also they reject the concept of creator. See, the very sort of way Four Noble Truth clearly sort of mentioned. No, I mean, things not come without cause. And within the cause, no permanent creator, but a certain sort of certain our action and a certain our emotion. So that's this second Four Noble Truth. So first Noble Truth and the second Noble Truth clearly indicates no creator. And then some Nalanda Master's writing, I think I remember particularly the Dharmakirti's writing, and also Shantadeva was writing in 9th chapter. You see, clearly mentioned, you see, raise a lot of contradiction if you accept the creator, as well as if you accept unchanging soul. So a lot of sort of questions raise, contradictions. So that's the way. Now here, Buddha himself stated, "O my follower, bhikshus, scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith, out of devotion. Rather, thorough investigation and experiment." So therefore, you see, the follower of his teaching, always investigate, not relying on quotation. Like that. Okay? Thank you. Take care, take care. Seems you have no sort of the proper sort of sight. Okay. Be careful, careful. Then I think the concept of creator or non-creator, these, I think, better live to individual business. I think over 1,000 years, you see, these, among the intellectuals, some debate is never end, so better leave it. So according to one's own sort of, the mental disposition. Recently, I was in Netherlands. I give a talk, one morning session. I explain about different religious sort of traditions, including Buddhism. And afternoon, usually public talk about because of the secular ethics. And then I took some questions. So one lady, about more than 10,000 audience. You see, the one lady, you see, sort of express when she heard about, you see, Buddhism, no concept of creator, and she felt very uncomfortable. She asked me, you see, what to do. Then I told her, there's no problem. You find benefit out of the concept of the God, creator. So you believe that, it's much better. It's your business. I am Buddhist. To me, no creator is more fit. So that's my business. So no problem. Next question.
Your Holiness, my question is, love is a beautiful thing, but it's hard to get. How should we deal when we can't get the one we love?
Kasa.
디 지단 제와 생에디 야부심치레 시내 제와 가소레 탑주치디 좀 줍하고 치자도 탑주치디 줍하고 차고도
가래.
제와 또 코랑 인주 미 가서 지어버리는 디 라에 된다는 지 제와 제 지치디 좀 발고 라에 가고 치도 탑시한데서 지어버렸어. 라에 차고
You mainly meant for love affair. Isn't it? Oh, then. One time in San Francisco, I met one Christian minister. He worked some sort of marriage work. Then he told me he usually advise such sort of people, no hurry, marriage, and wait and find more more friends. Then you have the sort of opportunity to choose. So you met just one and then a whole, not good. That also I quite often use it telling people, mainly now female girls, external beauty is important, no question. But more important is internal beauty. I have one sort of story. I think in early 60s, one Tibetan government official, one monk official, he disrobed. So then I teased him. I know that person, very, very reliable, wonderful sort of official. So I teased him, oh, your wife, not so attractive. I teased him. Then his answer is, oh yes, physically not much attractive, but inner self, really wonderful. So then I have nothing to say. Yes.
Can also take your blessings.
Okay? I think those people who questioned, I think later you should come together and have one group picture. Okay.
Thank you.
So including that sort of the difficult eyesight, also you should now try to reach here. Okay. Now next question. Yes.
Your Holiness, my question is, why a female does not get a freedom in a male-dominating world?
Karsa.
개버 포장장 기지 왕규 세사제 나라 품에서로 믹스가 라와 가르친라고 말했어. 품에.
Now here, I have something to say. Now, in millions years ago, human population very small. A small group or community also, very small group. I think mainly family basis like that. So at that time, no concept of leadership. All completely equal. So work together, whatever they got, share together. The Marxists say original communism, classless society. Then eventually, population increased. Population increase, and the farming system start. Then the question of, to say, mine increase. So some mischievous sort of activities happen. So the idea of leadership come in order to sort of control or judgment like that. So then at that time, no education. So in order to become leadership, it's only physical strength, like other animals. So male dominance then start. Even some religious tradition, you see that social cultural heritage, some sort of impact. So then education start. Education brings more equal. In modern time, quite number of leaders actually is female. I always remember Golda Meir, Israel. Oh, the lady, oh, really wonderful. Mrs. Thatcher. And also you see here in India, Mrs. Gandhi. So these, you see, because of education and their ability, become like that. So then, now, time come. Just mere education, not sufficient. We must make effort, promotion of human affection, human love. In that respect, biologically, female have more potential. Some scientists investigated one sort of movie picture which shows us passing through painful experience and then watch by one male, one female. Response, female, much stronger. Because of biological factor, more sensitivity about others' pain. So for promotion of human affection, female should take more active role. So now, I think the female should make more effort, firstly education, then work in the society And then sometimes, you see, like I think they were say the caste system. I think the lower caste people, it should not remain silent or accept the existing sort of inequality. Right?
Inequality.
One time in Delhi, some sort of discussion. One Hindu Swami, he is involved in some sort of effort to change these things. And one lady also, you see, spoke quite strongly. Then I respond, yes, if you organize some demonstrations, peaceful demonstrations about these rights, then I will join you. So like that, I think people should more active. And then females' right, like dowry. You should speak more strongly against these unequal. At a few occasions in Delhi, I expressed one occasion from airport to hotel in the city. I noticed this is some
No, they have actually put up a kind of a structure, an elegant structure.
I thought maybe some sort of film was the shooting. I asked my driver, what is going on here? He mentioned marriage. And then he told me few lakhs spent for marriage. I felt that's wrong. So then some occasion in Delhi, when I give talk, I mentioned those wealthy people, you see, at their sort of marriage time, instead of spend several lakhs for building that, better 20, 30 trucks with fruits and cheese or some other breads, and go Delhi city, those street children, the poor people, give them. That is the meaningful marriage. What you spend a lot of money, just a few hours sort of ceremony, meaningless, waste of money. I think in Bombay also maybe that kind of thing. Those wealthier family, in order to show their money, silly, foolish, stupid, really, no common sense. If every Indian, 1 billion Indian, have that kind of sort of rich, then okay, spend a lot of money, elaborately, okay. But millions of poor people remain there, same city. How can these people, you see, carry that kind of way, that kind of way of life? Clear. So, female should work hard, non-violently, not violent way. Then you will lose. Male much stronger. Power of truth, power of reason. Then physical strength, not much relevant. So power of truth, power of honest, power of compassion, concept of equality. You should work hard. Thank you. Next question.
Your Highness, with so much suffering and poverty around, should I feel guilty if I'm living a comfortable life?
Kasa.
Mi mangu susu ye kyobu shin de susu be de kanji tem di be kaso le lele de na di su sem na ji nong do ke wo de.
I think better feel something. So I think that does not mean you should starve. No. It's meaningless, foolish. So you should alive, and your physical also kasoda should be kasoda. Healthy. so that you can serve, you can help more. So their luxury way of life is really wasteful. So basic necessity, food, clothes, shelter, is very right. And then beyond that, too much luxury is not good. That does not mean we should not now, Kasota, make more money. No. The society still needs a lot of money. So those businessmen should make more effort, more economic development. And then from the profit, is to spend more, the upliftment of the poorer section of people. That's, I think, very, very important. Then individually, simplicity. Like, look, Mahatma Gandhi ji, he educated from England, great lawyer. And in India, in Africa, many people follow him. But he remained like beggar. Wonderful. But the Nehru, one roast here always like that. Okay. Next question.
Good morning, Your Holiness. Since you preach that, what do you think makes Buddhism, if not best, better than other religions?
Kasa.
나 좀는 겨울음식이다 지단탄다 lab지도 좀 나버티 난기요레스 근데 좀된 최디 난최디 치루신의 그 전상만에 가서래 약쇼 멤버 이내 야가 지유나스
그래?
약쇼
나주 그래.
치루신의 야 자가 지유나스 난주디 나 겨울음식
I never sort of propagate Buddhism. Actually, Vinaya Sutra actually mentioned, unless someone asks you explain teaching, you should not teach. That's the Buddhist way. So, for example, in the West, now number of Tibetan Buddhist centers and also some Zen centers, some Kasachuti, Theravada sort of tradition center also is in there. As far as Tibetan Buddhist center is concerned, one example, you see, one occasion, one German millionaire is one to donate $1 million to build Buddhist center in France, somewhere. I can't remember the name of the place. And then the Tibetan Lama and the donor come together and mention that. And then I told them, this is not Buddhist country. This is Christian country. So building elaborate Buddhist center is not appropriate. If you really want to build, then like Thailand or some other Buddhist countries, and India also okay. There are many Buddhists, and India is original Buddhist sort of Kasota, Buddhist country, because of Buddhist side, because of Buddhist place. So land of Buddhism. I told them, and then recently I was in Switzerland. There's some Tibetan Lama. Since they already got some land and thinking some construction, there also I suggested better not build. And also I heard some area in Switzerland, some Muslim refugee, they want to build one mosque. So local Swiss Christians oppose that. It's It's quite understandable. So I never sort of propagate the Buddha Dharma. And then also in the West, when I give some lecture on Buddhism, I always make clear they have their own traditional religions, faith. It's much safer and much better to keep their own traditional faith. Much safer. Here, on my sort of experience, one story. In early 60, and then Tibetan refugee newly arrived from Tibet, and at that time, no proper sort of arrangement for settlement. So most of them, road worker, very difficult, and particularly their children, very difficult. Many died. So then one time, one lady came to see me. Her husband, Tibetan lay official, he passed away. Then the mother, kept, I think, 2 or 3 young children. So mother, no proper way to earn to take care, their children. And children cannot work, very small. So mother really faced tremendous difficulties. Then at that time, of course, Christian organizations, immense helpful to us. Firstly, feeding these things, then education field. So the mother once told me her story, telling me all the stories. And then she told me, for this life, she become Christian. Next life, she will be Buddhist. So that's a clear sign of confusion. If you truly sort of follow Christianity, then either heaven or hell. So no opportunity to become Buddhist. So this is clear sign. So therefore, so one time in Mongolia, some Korean Christian missionaries there. So they, of course, I have a very good relation with Christians like that. So some of them came to see me. Then I told them, this is Buddhist country, Mongolia. This is Buddhist country. So your missionary work, if sort of some help in education or health, most welcome. If you try to conversion, then this is wrong, because this is Buddhist country. So I believe that. So different people, different country, it is better, safer to follow your own tradition. Therefore, I think here also, I think one occasion I mentioned, I never consider Buddhism is best religion. Never. The best means according individual mental disposition. For this person, Christianity is best, or basically theistic religion is best, because it affects most. This person with certain mental disposition, the non-theistic religion is best. So that way we can say. Otherwise, overall, you can't say this religion is best. Never. In the philosophical field, yes, obviously, Buddhist philosophy is much more sophisticated. Like that. Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Holiness. According to you, what values do you believe to be of the utmost importance to be instilled in today's youth for the best chance for a prosperous world and future?
Best, difficult to say. Under different circumstances, under these circumstances, this is best. Under these circumstances, this is best. So difficult to say best. I think that's the, generally speaking, Western mentality. Best and kasada karabena.
Cheap.
Best and quickest. So quite a number of occasions you see people ask the best way to achieve Buddhahood and the shortest. And then I usually add cheapest. Impossible. Like that. I think basically, as I mentioned earlier, I think we must think, we must consider most important is human level. 7 billion human beings, same. Then secondary level, including faith, and also different nationality, different countries. That's secondary level. So we should not sacrifice basic value of human being in order to say something secondary level. Many cases, as someone is asked, religious sort of holy war, so-called holy war, in sake of their faith, killing other people. So forget basic respect of human being. So number of problem, we too much emphasis on secondary level of differences and forget basic level of humanity. So that I think very, very important. Perhaps I may say most important or best. Next question. Oh, now time to go.
No.
Now lunch time. Already hungry. Yes, yes.
Namaste, Your Highness. My name is Vineet, and my question is, what is death? Why should we? What is death? Why should we fear death, or why do we have to fear death? And is there life after death?
Death? Yeah. Ready to rest in coffin. So that's different philosophical views. It's a different answer. So generally, death means, you see, this body no longer function. That's a death. So brain no longer function. Then that's death.
Why do we fear death?
That's we have the feeling of I which designated on the combination of body and mind. So body sees, mind sees, then of course fear. And that also, you see, depend on sort of different sort of concept. People who once sort of, who accept rebirth, then death means something like changing our clothes. Present clothes become too old, no longer usable, then change. Like that. This body, certain sort of life duration. So it end come, then take new body. Like that. According to the Christianity, then of course after death, wait, final judgment, then after the judgment, either heaven or hell. I think their life created by God, so death also created by God. So that's beyond our questions. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Now perhaps last question. Last question.
Good afternoon, Your Holiness.
Not yet afternoon.
Okay, then namaste.
Still good morning or good midday.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
Morning, okay.
Good morning.
Oh.
So here in India, a lot of people are confused between modernization and westernization. So in order to modernize, people are basically westernizing, losing their values, roots, their morals, particularly the Indian youth. So what would your message be to the Indian youth?
Modernization, right?
No.
Modernization and westernize.
No.
Maybe some differences. Modernization, the more technology, these things. And also, I think, the shape of the building, right? House. I prefer modern house than old house. One time in Switzerland, you see, some people, quite strangely, you see, they prefer old sort of style, big building. One time I spent one night, they arranged, you see, that building. So during the night, the ceiling, very high, and a huge room. I really felt, maybe in this room, many people even suicide, maybe, or die. So very uncomfortable. Like Potala, I spent a lot of several years during winter time in Potala. From outside, looks Potala really magnificent. Magnificent. If you remain Potala, no proper bathroom or toilet, you have to run in order to reach a toilet. If you really desperate, then on the way, sometimes little things. It's so very difficult, very uncomfortable. So I much prefer, you see, when I visit Deutschland, because of a lot of destruction during war, particularly when Germany is divided, then their capital Bonn. The foreign ministry, all these, a modern house, very comfortable. So some office is old style in England, or sometimes old style, looks uncomfortable. So these things, I think, modernize. I prefer modernized building and modernized life, more technology, these things. Many years ago, I think now over 40 years ago, one time in Bangalore, I met one, I think Gandhian. He totally opposed using car. He prefer, because of bull car, right?
No,
cart. Bull cart. He preferred that. That, I think, a little bit silly. And also one time, strangely, in Germany, one who talk, he consider using these fuels and cars, these are violence. So then, according to them, without technology, just use two legs, then impossible to reach America, impossible to reach Europe. I think several years. When you start walking from here to Europe, when you reach Europe, you already become old. Like that. So these are, I think, modernization is very, very essential. Whether you like it or not, you have to go that way. Westernize, I think culture also is some involved. That part, you see, India, especially India or Asian, particularly India, you have long tradition, has a long tradition. So you must keep. I think modernize India, but still your culture, I think very, very strong. That's good. That's good. Whereas you see, some Chinese people, I think now after sort of open their economic relation with the outside world, I think very quickly westernized. And I think at least in this room, no girl has a trustable specialty.
No girl who has dyed their hair yellow.
Oh, I think very rare in India, in China, in Japan, many. Yes, you can change color of your hair, but you cannot change size of your nose. Isn't it? Your nose quite okay. And that respected old lady also is like that. So I think that's my view. I don't know. Modernization is, I think, relevant. Westernize, I think, a different meaning. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, thank you. Sorry. Still a lot of questioners, but now no time. Thank you. Thank you.